But I go to the comment so fast because let's move on into, we were talking about Saquon. Let's move into Saquon.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm wondering, because of the Browns at 4, of the fact that if they don't take Saquon and he goes to 5 and beyond, well, really it's one more pick. It's the Broncos. What are the chances that Saquon not only falls out of the top 5, but chances that he falls out of the top 10? Is there a chance that Saquon could fall out of the top 10?
To address the top 10, no, there's zero chance that he falls out of the top 10 unless he has a Laramie Tunsil type of moment. Poor Laramie, he's never going to live that down.
Really, the question is, though, top 5.
Yeah.
Then would the Broncos take Saquon
Well,
Barkley?
I think that there's... So let's lay it out. Browns, they're going to take quarterback number 1.
Yeah.
The Giants, a very good chance they take a quarterback. Now, the Giants
could take Saquon.
That's what I was going to say. The Giants are the ones that they can do it. The Browns and the Jets at 1 and 3, not going to happen. Quarterbacks. Now, it really comes down to what we were just talking about with number 4. Do they go Chubb? Do they go somehow with Denzel Ward? Do they go with Saquon?
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, or Minka. If they say, hey, I got somebody I can move a guard into tackle and we want Quentin Nelson, who knows? They have options. I think it's most likely they do take Saquon Barkley, but I do believe that taking Bradley Chubb or even going for what you want with the corner, that is a viable option. Goes to the Broncos. Broncos need a quarterback.
I don't think right now, although long term, I don't want to believe I don't want to believe what the Broncos are saying. Elway says we're all in on Case. Vance Joseph, his quote was, he's the piece we are missing. I don't want to believe them, but I will believe them for the sake of argument. I'll be honest. If he does not get picked up by the Browns, does not get picked up by the Broncos, of course he'd be out of the top 5. That answers the question. But I think if that happens, he's a Buccaneer.
Really? You don't think the Colts would grab him?
I think the way I see it is the Colts, I think it would come down to, and I'll ask you this question. If you're the Colts, do you take Bradley Chubb or Saquon? Because I got the Broncos with Quentin Nelson right now. If they're not going quarterback, if they're not going Saquon, they're getting a guard to protect that missing piece. Then with the Colts, it becomes Bradley Chubb or Saquon. You were going to take him at 3. Why not take him at 6, Bradley Chubb?
That would be my dream scenario as a Chicago Bears fan if Saquon Barkley falls all the way to 7 for the Bucs, because I'm saying, hey,
Minka Fitzpatrick,
or I can get Denzel Ward.
Yep.
I can do either one I want.
Either one, no matter which one goes 4.
Yeah, I don't care.
Goes to you.
I can take whichever one, and I'm happy with that.
Which, by the way, Bears fans, the Outcasts are going to do their
That's right.
This on YouTube. This might come out after, but if you're listening audio form, their full 7-round Bears mock draft will be coming out this weekend.
So if you want to see what the Bears are going to do the whole time, that's the place to go check that out. I would love that type of scenario because basically what's going to happen is the Bucs have a very real chance of screwing it up for the Bears.
Yeah.
If, let's say 3 quarterbacks don't go in the top 5.
Because the Bucs could say, screw it, we're going to take Minka.
Yeah. Exactly. And the Bears have zero need for Saquon Barkley.
But I mean, even look at that. And I know this is all hypothetical now, and people are probably yelling at us for this, but let's say the Bucs do go Minka. Bears don't need a running back. They got 2 of them. The Niners don't need a running back. Could go running back. Take him.
Yeah.
The Raiders don't need a running back. Could go running back.
I think the Raiders would take him.
The Raiders would.
Yeah.
They would go BPA, but really it just turns into, could you imagine, we talked about the Dolphins. If you were the Dolphins, we talked best fits for Josh Rosen, correct?
Yeah.
You are now Adam Gase. You're now in charge of, well, I know Gase isn't the main guy, but congratulations, you're in charge of drafting for the Dolphins. Josh Rosen or Saquon? Do you take your quarterback or do you get that main running back?
The thing I'll say,
because you do have Tannehill.
In order for Saquon to fall, I don't think Josh Rosen is there.
But is he?
I don't think he would be.
Because the Bears don't need a quarterback.
No, that's not what I'm saying. In order for Saquon Barkley to fall, inevitably 4 quarterbacks will have to be taken, is what I'm saying.
See, I don't think so. I think he can fall with 3, because just think of it this way. Browns take a quarterback.
Yep.
Giants take a quarterback. Jets take a quarterback.
Okay.
If Rosen's at 4, he misses that. So let's say he's not one of those 3. Browns go with a cornerback. Broncos go with a guard. Colts go with a defensive player, probably Bradley Chubb.
Yep.
Bucks go with then Minka in this situation. From there on, Bears don't need a quarterback. The Niners don't need one. They just got theirs. The Raiders could, but Derek Carr's their guy. The Dolphins in this situation could be fit with, do we take Rosen or do we take Barkley?
And
if
potentially,
they're both on the table.
I think in that case, the Bears, the Niners, they're giving phone calls to Arizona, to Buffalo, to say which one of you wants to trade.
Which one of you wants a quarterback. The Bears for sure, especially if Minka's off the board, because it's like, great. I mean, they could take Tremaine Edmonds, but
they'll
trade
be around.
back. But trade back. You can get Edmonds at 12 then.
I would be surprised to see this type of scenario because, it's just a difference of which quarterbacks we think, are there, are in the order.
I'm going to be clear, though. I don't think Saquon falls to 11. I just wanted to play devil's advocate there.
And to answer your question, for that, I would take Saquon Barkley. If he's somehow there at 11 and I'm the Dolphins, the thing that kind of throws the wrench, and we both like the idea of Gase and Josh Rosen together, is just the fact that Jay Cutler was the quarterback in Miami last year. It wasn't Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill he's a guy who has all the potential in the world, but hasn't completely lived up to it yet. So he's gotten a little bit of a pass, and he got the pass again by injury. So I think that he's going to stick around. Now, for Saquon, it really comes down to, like we said, the Broncos, and I think the Broncos could pass on a guy like Saquon.
No, I seriously do too, because they do have CJ, and I know that it's like, oh, they got CJ. They're not really sold on CJ,
and they shouldn't be. I mean, Saquon's going to be a better option for sure.
But they don't need to take, and that's the big thing where it's in the NFL draft, to me, yes, there are some times where you take BPA, but for me, BPA is more of an NBA thing. Where in the NFL, there's so many different pieces because there's more guys on the roster, to where it also needs to come down to, what do I need? And the Broncos don't necessarily need a running back. They don't need a Saquon Barkley. What they could really need is a Quentin Nelson. Protect that quarterback that you just signed, who you said is the missing piece.
Yeah, and I think that a big part of it, too, is going to be if Saquon starts to fall. Really, to me, it's the question of if he gets 2-5 and on the Broncos, I know it'd be great to have Quentin Nelson, but I do pick up that phone and start saying, or start answering my phone because people are calling me and say, all right, well, who wants him?
And I mean, with the Broncos, and really they're the one we're talking about here because they're the fringe of, does Saquon fall out? Let's look at it this way. Let's say Quentin Nelson's not your guy, because let's be honest, they traded for Jared Veld here, but they could add some competition. That's the tackle side. They need a starter at guard. That's where Nelson comes in. However, on top of that, you just traded, let's say the Browns go Minkah Fitzpatrick. Well, we need a corner. We just traded Aqib Talib, so we need a corner. We need a starting right guard who Brandon said on the Primetime podcast, he read something where scouts are saying that Quentin Nelson, bag him for a 10-year all-pro kind of a starter.
Sure.
That's what you're getting with Quentin Nelson.
That's what we're expecting, yeah.
Or, Shane Ray has been a little inconsistent for you guys, and I'm being nice there. Bradley Chubb. So for me, it's if Denzel, Chubb, and Nelson are there, all three of those guys get better thought than Saquon there, just because of these three guys would help us more than having a dynamic running back like Saquon.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I do think the Colts would take serious consideration, especially if, let's say, they took Bradley Chubb, at whether it's 4 or it's 5. If Bradley Chubb's the guy who goes there and Quentin Nelson also was gone, without a doubt, Colts take Saquon, in my eyes at least. Question about the Buccaneers. They don't really need it, but they could do it.
Hey, I mean, the Buccaneers do need a running back. They just traded Doug Martin.
Oh, they did trade Doug Martin, didn't they, to the
Or
Raiders?
I'm sorry, they got rid of him. He left, and now he's with the Raiders. So they don't have Doug Martin anymore.
I forgot that Gruden picked up Doug Martin.
So, I mean, the Raiders wouldn't, but the Bucs do. I think if Saquon is there for the Bucs at 7, he gets gobbled up because their running backs right now in the depth chart, I'm going to quote the league here. Who got your quiz? I got your quiz. They got Jaquiz Rogers.
Very exciting.
They got Peyton Barber and Dalton Croissant. I hope that's how you say it. Doesn't matter. Third string running back. They could use a Saquon Barkley to help out Jameis Winston. Then you could have Deshaun and Evans on 2 sides. You got your tight end in Cameron Brate, who you gave a deal. You got O.J. Howard. You get Saquon in there. That is some new life to that Tampa Bay offense.
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of those things here where a lot of people could take Saquon.
Let's be honest. Jaquiz is a backup.
Yeah.
Jaquiz ain't your number 1 back.
Well, Jaquiz is a backup anywhere, really hasn't done anything that exciting.
Exactly. I'm not confident as him being my number 1 running back in Tampa.
So, to me, anywhere 4, 5, 6, 7, prime spots for Saquon.
Do you think, like with the Colts, do you think that they would take a Saquon over? Because with them,
why not?
If Bradley Chubb is gone...
And Quentin Nelson is gone.
Then, of course. Yeah. Like, if both of those guys are gone, the Colts... Now, with the Colts, would you take Saquon Barkley? Or would you do what one of our favorite fans that we like to talk to on Twitter, Shane O'Mac.
Yep.
Would you do what he said? And he said, I'm full team trade down. Just
I would love it.
Continue to trade down if you're the
Especially
Colts.
if you can pull it off with the Bills or something like that.
Because they'd need a quarterback.
But the problem is, like we're saying, is there's probably 3 quarterbacks that are gone by now. Maybe 4. Who are the Bills going to take?
Josh Rosen, maybe?
If there's 4 gone, then they can't, obviously. Then Lamar Jackson's the only one there. But if Lamar...
But if there's 3, Josh Rosen or Baker Mayfield...
You could do something like that. I don't know if I would... It depends on the deal. It would have to be a pretty sweet deal for me to pass up on Saquon Barkley in that case, assuming Chubb and Nelson are not there either.
I'm starting to think for Saquon that the range is 4 to 7.
Yep.
Highest he can go is 4 because I'm confident quarterback go
I don't know. He could go. I still think the Giants could do it. They could take Saquon Barkley.
Possibly. I'm still banking that they go Darnold if he's there. So I'm going quarterback. Highest Saquon goes is 4 if the Browns want him. Then the Denver can take him. Colts can take him. No way he gets past the Bucs. There's no way he gets past the Bucs.
And it's just kind of part of our, people are going to check it out next week on the podcast when we do our mock draft.
I can't wait.
What are we at, 5.0?
We are at 5.0, I believe. And then it's an interesting one because next week we have our final first rounder. Then I am doing what far few people decide to do is on article form on the website. I am going to do a full 7-round mock draft and have it broken down by teams for you guys. So it'll be like Browns, all their picks, and then what I think about it. Like, I've already dove into that, and my head hurts. Let's just put it that way. I am glad I'm not a GM. I would hate to be the GM for all 32 teams because
it'd be great. You'd always win.
It's hard. Like, that's the thing that I hate doing it, where you got to remove yourself from... Yeah, but I want this guy to go here. You got to take that out of it. You got to think of yourself as, all right, I am picking for this team, not knowing what's going to come up next. But any final thoughts about Saquon and his draft stock?
You guys are going to learn more about specifically where we think Saquon's going to go next week. Yeah, I mean, I think 2 to 7 is my range for him because I do think the Giants, they could take him because...
Do you mean 2?
Sam Darnold.
And then 4 through 7? Because 3 is a quarterback.
3 is a quarterback for sure.
So 2 and then 4 through 7.
Sure, but I mean, that's a little silly. That's a silly distinction to make.
Because we know that the Browns and the Jets are going to go quarterback.
We do?
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in that comment section. Does Saquon fall in the top 5? Does he fall out of the top 10? Is that too crazy of a question to ask? Probably, but it came out of my mouth anyways. Thank you guys for watching. A little housekeeping here at the end. Make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluedpodcast. You want to come into a podcast, tell me that I said something stupid, want to argue with me, patreon.com/mostvaluable-podcast. That's how you do it. You can also check out the store down in the description to get yourself an MVP t-shirt. Mostvaluablepodcast.com is where you come to get everything that we put up each and every day. And last but not least, if you're on iTunes, you're on Apple Podcasts, 5-star rating on that would be great. Want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.